Dane Brugler of The Athletic unleashed a 7-round, 257-pick mock draft. What a freak. But he did all of those for the New York Jets, included with all the other NFL teams. We have those results, and we're going to react to them right now on Boy Green Daily.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Hey, everybody, I'm Paul Liston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Like the video, hit subscribe. It's sort of a somber day because it's my final Hop on Pop in-person show with my father before I head back to New York shortly after the program. But the good news is what Jared B. just said, baby. We are 7 days away from the 2025 NFL Draft and 7 days away from our big, massive live stream. That'll be next week, 7 days from today, starting right at 8 o'clock. We're going to have guests throughout the 4+ hour live stream with former players, current players. We'll try to bring a little bit of everybody here on the program, plus the phone lines will be open throughout the program. I want to give another special shout out to J-Boy. He got his official Jets draft hat and draft shirt and the movie Draft Day, all of it according to the shipping overlords. I bought them right after the show. We'll be there before the draft. So again, another congratulations to J-Boy. Throughout the rest of the month, all of your guys' memberships will be going towards replacing the BMAC emoji. So feel free to enjoy that. And whoever has the most gifted memberships will get an opportunity. We'll be on that as well. And I see Meadowland Swap Thing says Pops should be on the live stream. He will be from international waters. He'll be tuning in. So we'll have Pops. We'll have James Woody. We'll have a couple other people joining as semi-co-host for chunks of the show. Plus, like I said, we'll have all those guests and call-in lines as well. So I'm very much looking forward to it. Pop, what's going on?
Yeah, hey now. It is sad the time's coming to an end. However, we have things coming up, the draft coming up, my mock draft coming up on Saturday.
Right.
And then you gonna tease people as we get closer as to the lineup and the timing, and you're kind of doing a spreadsheet on that?
Yes, there will be some surprises, but I guess I'll unveil it right now, thanks to some peer pressure from my fellow Paul here. A lot of P's happening. I'm pleased to announce that Jericho Cotchery, Jets legend, will be joining us at 8:05. So minutes into our live stream kicking off, Jets legend Jericho Cotchery is also a college football coach at Limestone University with former Jet as well, Leon Washington, on his staff. He will be joining us right off the top to talk about his draft day story and kind of get the juices flowing, because we already know that Cam Ward's going number 1 overall, so we'll have a little bit of some mess around time at the beginning of the live stream. So I'm excited to kick it off with Jericho Cotchery. That'll be a week from today at 8:05. He'll be joining us live on the show. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Again, that's currently in the live stream section. You guys can hop on over there and like the video right now and show your support. Pop, without further ado, you ready to get into this 7-round mock draft? Perhaps it could give you some intel for your mock draft coming up on Saturday.
I am ready. It may have been better to help this gentleman out with his career for me to do mine so that he could take from me.
Oh, I see.
But take that like button
Yeah.
to Pound Town.
There you go, baby. We got over 100 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. We're trying to make a chase to 10,000 subscribers, baby. So please make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Without further ado, I'm going to show each of these picks on the screen. I have an article in the YouTube description down below on one of these players that I found super intriguing, but we'll go piece by piece through. Again, Dane Brugler's 7-round mock draft is also linked down below through my article. Without further ado, with the 7th overall pick in this Dane Brugler 7-round mock draft, the New York Jets select... They select none other than Armand Membou, the offensive tackle out of Missouri. Pop, this is not a surprise. This has been a player that's been commonly mocked to the Jets. Quite frankly, me seeing it mocked so much to the Jets makes me think that We don't know really what's going on in that building. We've all just sort of made these educated guesses. So I'm going to be honest. I'd be surprised if Armand Membu is actually the pick because I feel like it's just been too connected to the Jets. This is a brand new regime that we don't know a lot about, but I wouldn't complain if we invested at right tackle. That's good for the run game. That's good for Justin Fields. That's good for whoever's playing quarterback. So I can't be mad at this pick.
I'm not sure mad is the right word. I would tell you that, everybody has strengths and weaknesses. I'm sure I do. I just don't know there. But Armand Membu, the things that are his weaknesses, the draft analysts, the experts, right? He is better suited for guard, which we'll get back to in a second. The Jets don't need. So his weaknesses are hand placement, getting off the ball, balance, and it does not play to his strengths to continue. Right, in high school, he played guard. Most analysts have him moving inside. So I don't love this pick. I don't mind the offensive tackle. It wouldn't be what I'm going to pick at 7. But there's some challenges here with him as the reason we draft him to come in at offensive tackle. I don't like this pick.
Yeah, I will also add this. No team has invested as much into their offensive line since 2020, other than the New York Jets. They have invested multiple first-round picks in this offensive line, guys that are here, obviously in Olu Fashanu, Elijah Tucker, and some that are not here, and Mekhi Becton. But while some teams may have used the same amount of first-round picks that the Jets have so far since 2020, what they haven't done is the quality of pick. All of those offensive linemen I just mentioned were top 14 picks. No other NFL team has invested that many top 14 picks in the offensive line. And obviously, Armand Membu would be another one on that list. So, again, at some point, I made this shout out days ago on the show, maybe weeks ago. Jets, try to find a right tackle outside of the first round for the love of Pete. Everyone else in the NFL has found a way to do it. Maybe you guys should join the group. But, again, it's hard for me to be mad about Armand Membu. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah. A couple things. If I don't think the Jets need him at guard, maybe next draft they're going to need a guard. You typically don't draft guards in the top 10. That's not normally the offensive tackles are in the top 10. That's a vital position. So that's the reason why. Again, I'll reiterate. I don't see he does have the kind of weaknesses that would challenge him, and I think we can fill the need, which is not as pressing based on our Okafor signing, discount double check signing of Okafor. We can get something later. Someone with this amount of weaknesses, I just think it's a no-go.
Yeah, fair enough. Also, with what you just said, there's a lot of debate about which prospects in this class are tackles and which prospects in this class are guards. Again, you mentioned it. Membu was a guard coming out of high school, and then in college, I went, actually, we think you're good enough to play tackle. That's normally not how it happens. Normally, you come in, I'm a tackle, and they're like, actually, you need to slide inside. That's where you're better suited. So that was a bit unique for Armand Membu. We'll see what happens from that perspective. So in Dane Brugler, 7th-round mock draft, and Armand Membu, 7th overall, to the New York Jets. Thumbs down from Pops there. All right, let's go to the next one here. Let's hit those chimes again. All right, let's jump over to the second round with the 42nd overall pick. Dane Brugler has the New York Jets selecting LSU tight end Mason Taylor, the son of Jets Hall of Famer Jason Taylor, the nephew of Hall of Famer Zach Thomas, as the pick here in the second round. Again, another pick that has been very commonly mocked to the New York Jets. And I'm going to be honest, this is one that, early in the process said, the third round would be great. Now he's sort of this top 50 lock, it seems, by all the mock draft experts. And boy, there's a lot of projection going on here based on when you look at the numbers of what Mason Taylor has done at the college level, and you really boil it down here for Mason Taylor. Here are the numbers. So we can just lay them out there on the line. Over his 3 years in college, we'll start in 2022, 38 catches, 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. Next year, 36 catches, 300 yards, 1 touchdown. Final year, 55 catches, 500 yards, 2 touchdowns, which are all career highs. But you look at these numbers, there's nothing crazy. We're all picking on Tyler Warren, apparently, because he had 1 year of production. Where's the 1 year of production here for Mason Taylor? So it's a bit of a, hey, we think he's really talented to do this, and we're projecting him to do that. So I think on Mason Taylor, it seems like there's a lot more projection than reality with this player. He seems super talented, and hey, I guess beggars can't be choosers. The Jets tight end room sucks, but I don't know. I'd wait a little bit longer on tight end. This Mason Taylor pick, while I've liked the player in varying stages throughout this process, 42 seems a bit rich.
Yeah, a bit rich. So I don't know how the rest of this thing is going to shake out, but so far this guy has got the ball on the wiffle ball on the tee, and he can't hit that mother blanker. So absolutely not. I may consider a tight end at 42, but it is not this gentleman, right? He has lack of straight line speed, lack of short-term burst. As you can see, his stats, if you add up his entire collegiate career, I think his numbers are below the person that I want at tight end.
Which is true. That is Harold Fannin Jr. Yeah, his career stats would be fewer than
200 yards fewer than Harold Fanning III, I believe it is.
Yeah, there you go. So it would be, he would be different, I guess, from that standpoint. And here's the other parts. When you look at the weaknesses, shout out to Dane Brugler and the Beast for having some of these in here. Shaky base and anchor and pass protection. Part of being this tight end is he's supposed to be helping whoever the hell's playing right tackle. And I want someone who's a little bit better in that department. Some other criticisms here from Dane Brugler and the Beast. Too easily bullied or tossed aside by defensive ends, especially when his hands land wide. These are not things that I feel comfortable with. If I'm going to invest in a tight end, I want them to be terrific blockers. The receiving game's awesome because we haven't seen a lot of that. And then we question the protection from his blocking perspective. And then when you talk about explosive plays, he didn't create many explosive plays. Dane Brugler said he had 6 of the 55 catches in 2024, went for 20 yards or more. So you're talking about that explosive percentage, and that's not really there either for Mason Taylor. So again, I think someone will take him in the top 50. He's got NFL bloodlines and all that potential, but I don't think I want to be the one to do it.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. He's third round or later. And again, there's 3 or 4 tight ends that I have way above him for what the Jets need is. The Jets need a weapon. The Jets need a weapon. And there's a couple good the gentleman from Penn State, Harold Fanning III. And I would tell you, Orlando Gadsden.
Rondé Gadsden.
Rondé Gadsden. All of these are more now, are they phenomenal blockers? No. But we need somebody that's going to stretch the defense, make those mismatches, and we'll know what we have in the blocking game, right? We can bring another fatty in if we want one, but we need somebody that can catch the frickin' ball too.
By the way, Pop, we're doing a little too early projection. You're getting all this Harold Fannin III. His son hasn't even been born yet, for Pete's sake, to get him ready for the draft. Harold Fannin Jr., but I'm sure we'll hear even more about him coming up.
HF3 is on the way.
Hey, there you go. One nugget I do want to get to. Well, I'm not very high on Mason Taylor to that level. Truman Dumel asks, any chance Mason Taylor going in the first round? There has been some buzz about late round 1 for Mason Taylor. And if someone does it, God bless. Because, again, that's not what I want to be doing. There are other tight ends I love in this class. I'd rather take a gamble on from that perspective. But, hey, different strokes, different folks. Again, we're getting to mock the mock. Dane Brugler's the one that put all this hard work in, and we get to annihilate it here on Boy Green Daily. Wonderful. We got 200 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe.
He's 0 for 2.
Oof, not great news so far, Dane Brugler. I do enjoy your content.
He needs to go find a torpedo bat or something to help him up his average.
We'll see if that can help throughout the rest of this mock draft. Let's hit the chimes. All right, baby, let's go to the next one here. We're going to go to the 3rd round, the 73rd overall pick. Dane Brugler of The Athletic has the New York Jets selecting wide receiver Kyle Williams out of Washington State. This is a player the Jets have been doing some homework on. He's been one of the gems of this wide receiver class for the New York Jets. He's 5'11", 190 pounds. He's 22 years of age, coming out of Washington State. He was a 2-year starter, ex-receiver, which, again, there's not many of those in this class. You look at the production for the young man. He started his first 3 years at UNLV and then came over to Washington State. and he's coming off a career year. He had 70 catches, 1,100 yards, and he also had 14 touchdowns, baby. So the video game numbers are there. A late riser, some speed certainly could be added to this room, and there's no question. I think me and my pop will both agree that we do need another receiver in this room, but he is explosive. This is a guy that I think would add that sort of profile to what the New York Jets need. Obviously, it's a little smaller. You probably prefer some size, but you brought back Alan Lazard. You have Josh Reynolds, a couple of other bigger guys. Maybe Kyle Williams is a guy that could sort of complement the room here. So he's a late buzzing guy that's gotten some connective tissue here for the New York Jets during this process. He was one of their top 30 visits.
Yeah, really what you said, my concern is I think we have him already in the Jets receiving room. And what I mean by that is we've got to have to put him in the slot. He's not going to – he's matched up with the corner. He has trouble breaking away at the line of scrimmage based on his size. He can get manhandled, right? And I still have a lot of faith in Malachi Corley. That's where I think this gentleman would fall into based on his size. He brings a lot to the table with his precision route running, but he's going to be tied into the slot because his lack of ability to get off the line when he's going to face these, right? The corners in the NFL is a grown ass man's game, and he's going to have trouble and struggle breaking it if he's lined up straight up one-on-one against a cornerback. So I like the player. I'm not sure he's a wide receiver for the Jets based on the wide receiver room we have. And again, I could be placing a lot more faith in the Yak champion, but I still like Malachi.
Yeah, Kyle Williams had the 4.4 flat 40-yard dash, and Dane Brugler highlighted some of the same concerns you have. He has unassuming size, strength, and body bulk. Dane Brugler says he's athletic. Also, small hands, smelling of cabbage.
Yes.
And, the Dutch. And
scares me, carnival workers.
Yeah, it does have a little bit of that in his game as well. So that's going to have to be the NFL strength and conditioning system, and that's that fine line. You want him to keep the speed. 4.4 flat is terrific. And you want to add in the bulk so he can handle these long 17-game seasons and maybe eventually 18-game seasons. So you want to bring him in your strength and conditioning program. But if you bulk him up too much and you lose the speed, well, the speed is what you drafted him for in the first place. So that'll be sort of the fine line approach here at wide receiver.
Yeah, and unlike the Yak champion, in college, right, and I believe Washington State, right, UNLV, he's having trouble breaking tackles with that level of competition. Right, he's not known as he could be the Yak champion, right? So there's a concern there. So that's another reason why he may not be the best fit for the Jets.
Hey, you always love this. Danny in real life, he's our Buffalo Bills fan on Twitter. He says, love Kyle Williams, hate if he gets drafted by the Jets, Patriots, or Dolphins. It's always good when a division rival is like, dang it, how did they get him in this mock draft scenario? So, again, he'd be a nice find in the third round. His stock has certainly increased a lot during this process. All right, let's go.
Yeah, one more on him.
Oh,
so
go ahead. Yeah.
The other problem is this gentleman is a very rare air if he gets in the third round. I still think that's a little high. My concern for him is he has never played special teams in college. And that's concerning because I'll tell you that you have your wide receiver room when you get lower in the depth, right? Garrett Wilson's not running out there as the gunner. However, the other ones, you expect him to be able to come in and fill in on these teams, and he's never done it.
Well, Malachi Corley is another guy who I wonder how much he will contribute in that department for the New York Jets. Again, we'll see if he can make that leap. Let's go back to the mock draft. This is from Dane Brugler, 7th-round New York Jets mock draft. Again, we have an article in the YouTube description down below highlighting one of these players just a little bit more. Let's hit those chimes. Yeah, baby. And the next pick for the New York Jets with the 110th overall pick in the 4th round of Dane Brugler's 7th-round mock draft is defensive tackle Deion Walker out of Kentucky. And I'll tell you guys this. Again, I have all the more information on this guy specifically because he was someone that stood out. both literally and figuratively for the New York Jets. This dude is massive. He is 6'8". At the combine, he weighed in at over 330 pounds. And I saw this guy in first-round mocks for the New York Jets before last season started. He was coming off an awesome year, had 7.5 sacks in 2023. And we're all like, okay, everybody, watch out. Deion Walker's coming. And then last year, unfortunately, he did not live up to the hype. He did not deliver in the same way, which obviously has him falling here to the fourth round. He's a 3-year starter. He's a massive human being, again, 6'8", 330 plus pounds. And Dane Brugler described him as part of planet theory. He said there are only so many humans walking the earth who have his combination of size, strength, and sweet feet that he brings to the table. There have been questions about his motor. That has caused some issues, but perhaps the scariest thing that he battled with is what he battled with a back injury last year. And that's sort of scary because I had to start playing doctor before the show to try to get a better understanding of this back issue that he was dealing with in college last year. And let me make sure I pronounce all of this terminology correct here on the show and make sure I have it here. It is called pars defect is what he was diagnosed with last year, which is a fracture between the two vertebrae in the spine during the 2024 season. And anytime you go with back injuries here, you could get into some problems. So what I was able to look up is on this pars defect, it depends on how serious the condition is in terms of what kind of treatment. Treatment could be as easy as rest. It could be easy as wearing a special back brace that supports it, but it can also go as serious as surgery. So it's going to be a big medical question here for the Jets. If he's cleared medically, I think he'd be a terrific dart throw. This is how I evaluate the draft. There are 3 days in the draft. First round, day 2 is second and third round. Day 1 is first round, obviously. Day 2 is second and third round. And then day 3 is the 4th through 7th round. To me, the first 3 rounds I value as premium selections. Those should be starters or significant contributors. On day 3 of the draft, the philosophy changes. I'm chasing traits. Is there something a player does at an elite level, but everything else is sort of mid? And can I maximize that elite trait so he can be a key role player for your team? The other thing is what we have here with Deion Walker. He has a medical thing that you have to sort of evaluate with the picture. And you've also seen it on tape. Aaron Glenn said this at the annual league meetings. He wasn't talking about Deion Walker. He was talking about Sauce. And he said Sauce, through his first 2 years, was the best corner in football. And then last year, there was a drop-off. But he said, if I've seen it on tape before, I know I can get it back out of him again. Deion Walker, guys, watch the 2023 tape for Deion Walker. 7.5 sacks, explosive, disruptive, game wrecker, pressures, all of it was impressive for Deion Walker. This past season, a lot of those numbers dramatically fell off. And again, part of that could be contributed to this, again, pars defect, which, can cause lower back pain, can be incredibly debilitating. I'll tell you I've had a few back issues over the last year and a half. Obviously, I'm not 6'8" of Deion Walker. And there is nothing more demoralizing than a back issue that sort of restricts a lot of your movement and energies and things you can do from that perspective. So Quinnen Williams obviously needs some friggin' help. And adding a 6'8" big man like Deion Walker out of Kentucky, he has the talent, and you've seen it on tape previously. This is one of the biggest needs for the Jets at defensive tackle heading into this draft.
Yeah, and gargantuan is the word that they use, gargantuan.
Sure.
And so this is exactly what the Jets need. And I'll tell you, he had that back injury, the fracture in his back.
Yeah, pars defect.
Pars defect. I'm going to look that up. But anyways, he had the pars defect, but he gutted through it, right? Playing in 11 of 12 games, right? Toughed it out.
Yeah.
Did he have the stats? No. But what you really need is a massive body to fill that interior. He can bring that to the table. He never lifted weights until he went to college, this monster of a man. He never had to. However, he still set the record for bench press for Kentucky. And he never benching before. He still was able to crank out 22 reps, which for someone that had never lifted before, which is crazy, to still be in the middle of the road on the bench press and then set the school record for bench pressing. This huge individual, he's really going to help out the Jets, fill it out. I love this pick.
Yeah, again, this would just be great Again, obviously there's risk with a pick like this. And so far this offseason, the Jets have just added a bunch of guys. Derek Nottie, body. Byron Cowart, body. They're just sort of a J. Tufele. Again, these are just sort of randos, warm bodies, but they need significant contributions there at defensive tackle. Hell, you can make a strong case, that we did a couple days ago, about Mason Graham taking the defensive tackle in the first round, let alone waiting to the fourth round. But I love this pick. I love the value here of getting a guy that's this gosh darn talented. There's no question about it. So thumbs up finally for Dane Brugler.
Thumbs up, and I'll tell you, it's rare
Yep.
to draft somebody in the we get over this PARS defect or manufacturing defect or whatever defect. We get over that. This gentleman is projected to be able to be a day-to-day starter, and to pick that up in the fourth round, and we give him a physical. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Before you bring him in, I think this is a slam dunk.
Yeah, my only question is, and I hate seeing this on players' profiles, is on Lance Zierlein's evaluation on his NFL Combine profile. He questioned the motor and he questioned, the effort level at times for Deion Walker. Again, he didn't talk at all about the back injury in his profile, so maybe that's just lack of context for that, but something else to consider. That is something that Lance Zierlein, like I said, brought up as well. All right, let's go to the chimes, baby. All right, we're in the final stretch here of picks, and this is the final 4-pack for the New York Jets, because they have 2 picks in the 5th round, 2 picks in the 6th round. They got bonus picks for the Mike Williams trade to Pittsburgh, and then the McCall Hardman trade where they sent him back to Kansas City with the Chiefs. Let's go with the 145th overall pick in the 5th round. The New York Jets selecting Texas defensive back Andrew Makuba. Makuba Matata, baby. I love Makuba. Versatile player. I think he fits exactly what Aaron Glenn is looking for. I absolutely love this pick. And I can't believe he's still available here in this 5th round projection. This is Dane Brugler, 7th best safety in this class. 5'11", 186 pounds. He's got a great story. He was born and raised in Zimbabwe. His parents are from Congo. And so he has this amazing story of coming over here, and he's incredibly versatile. This guy is really talented. I love how he operates in the run game, and I think he could be a nice complement to Andre Cisco, who's sort of this ball hawk on the back end of the defense. He brings a lot of that to the table. And speaking of ball hawk, you look at Andrew Makuba coming out this past season. He spent his first 3 years at Clemson, then came over to Texas and had 5 interceptions last year. He was absolutely terrific. He was just, again, a guy that was moving the needle and making plays. Also, a new career high in picks and career high in pass deflections. He had 11 of those last season. So long story short, we talked about this with Ryan Roberts a couple weeks ago, where he said at Clemson, he was just and then he goes to Texas and he turned into this dog, especially in run defense too. So Andrew Makuba, we're talking about starters. You potentially find a starter in the 5th round, or who at the very least is your 3rd rotational safety with Tony Adams. Makuba is one of my favorite picks in this mock draft. I love it.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a need here, a sneaky need, if you will, to give Cisco a counterpart, a yin to his yang, by the way. And I think he brings a lot to the table. Speaking of playing at 2 upper echelon universities and producing, right? He was tied for 4th in the NCAA with that 5 interceptions, ball hawking, pass breakup. So absolutely.
And I will highlight Zach Wynn's comments here. I agree. He says, I don't think Makuba makes it to round 5. Again, that would surprise me. I thought Makuba could be in play for the Jets at pick 73, certainly at 110 overall. But if he's here in the 5th round, I think this is a steal of steals. Again, he is a potential starter for the New York Jets. Boom, another thumbs up. Okay, we're on a roll. Dane Brugler, keep doing whatever you're doing, brother. Let's hit the chimes. We got a discount double check here in the 5th round. There we go, baby. Let's get our next draft choice here. Again, this is our extra 5th round pick. With the 162 overall pick, 162nd overall pick, we have cornerback Za Frazier of UTSA. And I'm going to be honest, when you see this guy, you just immediately have reminiscent vibes of Tariq Woolen, a.k.a. Reek Woolen, who came out of UTSA a couple of years ago from that perspective. Look at the size on this guy, 6'3", 186 pounds. Now, the thing that's different about Za Frazier versus what we had in Reek Woolen is Reek Woolen was around the same size. He was a little taller, 6'4", but he was 210 pounds. So you're getting a much lighter frame here with Za Frazier. He's an older player, too. He's 24. He will be turning 25 later in his rookie season. But you could tell why you'd want to take a gamble on this guy on day 3 of the draft. He is the 23rd ranked corner on Dane Brugler's big board here, an outside corner that has all kinds of potential. And the potential is obvious in the statistics. He started out his career at Southern Illinois and finished his last 3 collegiate seasons here. Coming over to UTSA. He had 6 interceptions. All 6 of his career interceptions all came this past season, and he had 15 pass deflections. Again, a one-year starter. That's where the numbers really stand out here when you look at it for him from that perspective. So, yeah, Za Frazier, again, these are the kind of gambles you want to take on day 3 of the draft. Corner is a sneaky need. His full name is Zaquan Frazier, but he goes by the nickname Za. It's pronounced Zay, excuse me, is another part of his name as well that he's has coming in here. Really talented player. The Jets need another guy, and I love this story. He was a no-star recruit coming in that wasn't even ranked by online services in 2019, and he had to basically carve out his own path. I think corner is a sneaky need, especially when you consider Brandon Eccles is gone. That was our top reserve corner. You have Quintez Stiggers, who I like a lot, but you just got to keep kind of hitting the streets here at cornerback to add different guys to the rotation. This current regime has no ties whatsoever to Aaron Glenn and company, has no ties to Quintez Stiggers. So there's going to be more guys added to this room for sure.
Yeah, I think this is based on the runway, his collegiate runway. This would be a project at best, and I think we already have that with Stiggers. So I will go down arrow, but I'll go sideways arrow. I'm not a big fan of this pick. If I hadn't already done so, and maybe it's coming, I've not actually. I'm getting this hit at me the same time as everyone else. This is where I would have, if not already done so, looked at the quarterback room.
Yeah, I'll just relay it here. No quarterback has been selected, and I'll just give you a shout out. No quarterback will be selected in the 7-round mock draft. Here are the picks, and we'll review them. 7th overall was Armand Membu, the offensive tackle out of Missouri. In round 2, 42nd overall was tight end Mason Taylor out of LSU. 3rd round, 73rd overall was wide receiver Kyle Williams out of Washington State. 4th round was Deion Walker, the talented defensive tackle out of Kentucky. We just had in the 5th round safety Andrew Makuba Matata out of Texas, and just now, obviously, Za, a.k.a. Zay Frazier, the cornerback out of UTSA. So no quarterback yet, and spoiler alert, no quarterback at all in this mock draft as well. So without further ado, again, Zay Frazier here, the very talented guy out of UTSA. I like the dart throw, but let's go with another chimes here. Okay, let's go to the next pick here. We're going to the final 2 picks of this 2025 mock draft. 7-rounder Dane Brugler of The Athletic here. Let's go to the 6th round, and we bring up, with 186 overall pick, pass rusher Ja Joyner out of Minnesota. Pass rusher being added to this mix for the gosh darn New York Jets. An interesting player, 6'4", 262 pounds, a 5th-year senior. He's 23 years old. He will soon be turning 24. He's a 1-year starter at Minnesota and primarily lined up as a outside edge rusher in their 4-man front. A very long-framed athlete, super talented. You go down immediately to the raw numbers here, and you saw that sort of similar to Deion Walker. He had a big year in 2023, a little bit less so this past season. His career year was in 2023, where he had 7.5 sacks and 7.5 tackles for loss. This past season, only 4.5 sacks and 5.5 tackles for loss. Across his entire career, he had 14.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, and he had 9 pass deflections. So a big guy certainly getting involved with his hands, swatting the ball at the line of scrimmage. Again, 16.5 tackles for loss. I think pass rusher is a need that, quite frankly, could be addressed earlier, depending on whose board you're looking at here. And now you take a guy that, to me, has intriguing traits. This is someone you want to take on day 3 of the draft. There is a ton of pass rushers available in this class, and quite frankly, it's really just whoever you prefer as your flavor. Dane Brugler has him as the 26th ranked edge in this class.
Yeah, this need is much sooner than this, and this is not. I need a much more accomplished edge rusher. Brings a lot more to the table. He was a 5th-year senior, and he didn't start till his 5th year. And I get the rotational element of the edge. Don't get me wrong. I just think the Jets need more talent than this. Frankly, this kid is probably more talented than whatever his name. What's that shopping channel? Reddick or whatever his name is. So we need better. We need better than this sooner. A better quality player. Nothing against him, but we need something sooner, and he's not going to fill the need here.
Fair enough that you could address edge rusher earlier in the draft. The middle edge swamp thing, that's the thing that intrigued me. You highlighted 9 pass deflections. Sounds unique. Certainly so. That's the thing that, that a guy that's very engaged, because sometimes when a guy's just straight up pass rushing and he gets home, right, he's a happy camper. But when he's getting stifled with a double team or something, they could get very lethargic, very lazy, not have active hands from that perspective. So I think, to me, that's an incredibly great sign that he's a guy that no matter what is trying to affect the game of football. And that, to me, intrigues me. So, again, at the end of the day, this is the 6th round. So we're getting a little deeper here. We get a mid-thumb from my pops here. We got 400 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. There's one last pick to get to. The Mr. Irrelevant for the New York Jets. They have no 7th-round pick. So the next best thing, their final pick in this Dane Brugler 7th-round mock draft. Hit the chance. All right, baby, here it is. Here's the final selection of Dane Brugler's mock draft. We stay in the 6th round. 207th overall linebacker Shamar James out of Florida. Okay, a big SEC program. Shamar James is the 14th ranked linebacker in this class. He's 6'2", 222 pounds, incredibly young. He's only 20 years of age. He was a 2-year starter at Florida, played a little will linebacker in former defensive coordinator Austin Armstrong's scheme. One of the prizes of Billy Napier's scouting staff, when they brought him in from that perspective. And you just bring up the raw numbers here for his 3 years at Florida. You see some of that action happening here. Again, more off-ball linebacker than straight-up pass rusher, although as a pass rusher, he had 5 sacks, 11.5 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, 4 pass deflections, and even got involved with an interception as well. He totaled 166 tackles. I know how big of a tackle guy you are, Pop, here, adding him to the rotation. Again, another position that we debated with, I think it was Nick Baumgartner when we had him on the show earlier this week, Pop. The need of today versus the need of tomorrow. The need of today, well, you have Quincy Williams and Jamion Sherwood. There doesn't seem to be an obvious needed off-ball linebacker. It also depends on how you feel about Zaire Barnes. He was a day 3 off-ball linebacker pick a couple of years ago that made that safety linebacker switch. How do they feel about him could determine whether or not they feel like investing in the off-ball linebacker department. You're the guy like Shamar James. But also, this could not Shamar in particular. I don't think a random 6th-round pick will determine the future of Quincy Williams. But what are the Jets doing with Quincy? Are they trading him? Are they signing him? Is Quincy going to play in his current deal? There's a lot of questions here left unanswered, but this gives you some depth at off-ball linebacker.
Yeah, it does. I'm not displeased. I'm happy with the linebacker selection.
Content?
I'm content with the linebacker selection at this play. The off-ball part, another linebacker that's lighting the loafers like Mr. Sherwood. That's the only thing that concerns me a little bit. You haven't got the CJ Mosley kind of replacement that's gonna put the dot your eye if you come up the middle. Mm-hmm. But we have a giant guy that's on defensive tackle now, so maybe you don't need it.
Also, let's show this up from Hep. Hep has been pounding this table. He says, I'd rather get the best kicker than this 15th best linebacker here. He says kickers win games. Just look back at last season where Greg Zuerlein blew at least 3 games for the New York Jets, if not more. with how late the Jets waited to make a kicking change from that perspective. So, we'll see. We'll have to look into Dane Brugler's kicker rankings to see if there is someone viable this late in the class. But, Pop, without further ado, that wraps up the mock draft from Dane Brugler. What's your overall grade? Because, again, you're going to be in the chair coming up on Saturday with your own 7-round mock draft. So those are the picks. What do you make?
Yeah, so summation.
Sure, please.
I would tell you the first round pick was a miss.
All right.
My opinion.
All right.
You get somebody, offensive tackle is not a bad selection. This gentleman, it's questionable if he can even play that role in the NFL. Don't like that. Pick the wrong tight end at the second pick.
All right.
Wrong wide receiver with his inability to get off the ball. And so he had some other good picks. I like the Mountain from Kentucky.
Sure.
That's his new nickname, the Mountain.
Oh, great.
And some of the other ones are meh. So I would give him a C minus.
Oof.
C minus.
Well, I appreciate the harsh grading happening there. I'll just say this, because one of the things we could do is take a step back and say, okay, what positions did he ignore? Obviously, you mentioned it earlier. Quarterback, they didn't touch. That's a very divisive topic among our fans. Half of them say, and I'm boiling it down to half. It's probably not half, but these percentages. A chunk of them say, hey, man, you got to take a quarterback. You always have to keep swinging, which, again, is my opinion as well as Ron Wolf's, is that you take a quarterback every bleeping year until you have one. And when you have one, you still take a guy. So there's someone during this class exchange out a edge rusher or a corner here, as much as I am intrigued by Zay Frazier or Ja Joyner, or switch out your off-ball linebacker with your final pick. Flipping in a quarterback there, not just for nothing. I mean, obviously you have to believe in the guy for that to be there, but quarterback obviously was something that they missed. They avoided double dipping, they being Dane Brugler, avoided any double dipping, because I'd be sort of for that. If you want to take some depth on the offensive line, take another guy. You want to take two tight ends. Sharon, who's in our comment section, she has said very often she would love to see Tyler Warren in the first and then Aronde Gatson at some other point in this draft. I wouldn't mind a double dip because this tight end room is completely barren. You could also double dip at wide receiver if you find the right value at a different point. And I wouldn't be mad at that at defensive tackle either. This class is rich with defensive tackles. I love Deion Walker, but I think you could have gotten another big boy in the rotation there too, because of how deep this class is. So from a criticism of that perspective, we could sort of get into the weeds about positions. There was no double dipping, and quarterback obviously was avoided here. And another position was avoided is running back. Again, it's the questions about the now versus the later. Are you bringing back Breece Hall? If not, are you just going to wait till next year to find that guy? Maybe that's less of an important need to address from that perspective as well.
Yeah, I'm in the it's less of a need right now. There's plenty of needs, and I will tell you that the biggest detractor for me from this draft is we're not bringing anybody in that's going to help where the Jets have the biggest gap, and that's a playmaker on offense. And that's not a disparagement on Garrett Wilson. The compliment to Garrett Wilson, the concern for other defenses, the part that's going to, we can just pile on Garrett Wilson and then, maybe they make a play occasionally. Lazard's going to drop the ball half the time. So they need to get that playmaker compliment to Garrett Wilson. I think they're available in the draft.
Yeah, I will say this. I saw this question, and we'll answer a few questions here before we get out of here. Let's throw up Phil Young, FL Phil 98 says, have any staff members, Aaron Glenn, Steve Wilkes, Darren Muji, said anything specific about Qantas stickers? The answer to that question would be no, Phil Young. I spend a lot of time making sure that I listen to all the media availability, both in the public presses and the podcast. And we've had Muji and Glenn speak 4 or 5 times this offseason, both at the podium and on the side. None of them have mentioned stickers. And the rest of the Jet staff, their underlings, right? The Steve Wilkes, Tanner Angstrom, any of those people have not done any media availability yet to this point. So I can't speak for them one way or the other. They haven't spoken about him publicly. And so long story short, Glenn and Mucci have been the only ones who have been public, and they have not brought it up yet on stickers. Does that mean something? Does that not mean anything? I'm not sure. But I'm rooting like hell for stickers. It's an amazing story from last year.
Yeah, absolutely. And have they spoken about Malachi Corley either, who's a very similar situation to Stiggers as well. So I don't think that necessarily means anything.
Yeah.
I would tell Terrence, I am pseudo in the Justin Fields camp. I'm in the wait and see on Justin Fields. I don't discount double check his ability to be a playmaker. but we need someone he can throw the ball to and be that there's a gap there, both at tight end and in the wide receiver room that needs to be filled. That was my point.
And not to spoil this mock draft on Saturday, no early secret sauce to this. But how early are you willing to take a quarterback? Because I think that's sort of Terrence's point. And the people that are pro Justin Fields, give this man a chance. You can't waste one of your early premium selections on a quarterback. You should be using those to build around Justin Fields. What is your response to that in terms of how early you'd be willing, or quite frankly, don't speak about you, speak about the Jets, how early you think they would be willing to take a swing at the quarterback position?
Yeah, so it would really be based on the rankings of the quarter. I have that board up there. Here's my rankings. Here's what the scout team has told me. These are the quarterbacks. Here's what I know they're valued, just like the draft value. They all have a draft number for me. And I would share with you that there's value in picking them when it becomes overwhelmingly positive for the Jets. The value of the quarterback for the level of pick. And then you go to no further than what New England did. They drafted a quarterback when they didn't need a quarterback. And not, you go back to the Cowboys with Troy Aikman, and they drafted Steve Walsh, and they ended up getting premium quality. Now, Steve Walsh is missing, like America's Most Wanted. But, you go back and look, and there's value in that. But to answer the question, if we were in the 4th or 5th round, I'm not talking about the 2nd or 3rd round, but it would really have to be I'd look to my board, the value of the players versus the availability. And so maybe the 4th or 5th round.
Yeah, New England's done it twice. I don't know why they stand out to me in my mind. A lot of teams have done it. But Ryan Mallett was a quarterback out of Arkansas that they drafted and then flipped later. Jimmy Garoppolo, obviously, is another one that someone recently mentioned in a column. If you draft those quarterbacks and you're able to kind of churn out, that's something as well to consider. Keep sending in your guys' questions. We'll try to answer a few before we get out of here today. Unfortunately, it's my final day here at the New Hampshire Stronghold. We're going to not end the show now, but we will eventually end the show here, do a breakfast, and then hit the road. And I've got an 8 or 9 hour trip back to New York for all the festivities. We will be back on, of course, tomorrow morning for Boy Green Daily. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, so there was some news. I don't know if you saw it.
Okay.
Some report. I don't remember who it was. You get those notifications now on the gosh darn technology.
Sure.
And it came across that the old person who shall not be named is closer to retirement than coming to Pittsburgh. I thought that would be an interesting thing to at least mention.
Okay. Who was the source on that one?
I said, gosh darn technology. The notification came across my screen.
Okay.
Let me see if it'll come up here.
Yeah. Okay. Please do, Pop. The other one I was double checking is Danny brought up Jacoby Brissett, who, of course, was another one. He was a 3rd round draft choice in 2016 by the New England Patriots. And I forgot that that career included a trade over to the Indianapolis Colts. They traded him to the Colts for wide receiver Philip Dorsett. Dorsett ended up not being great for the Patriots. So it was a player-for-player swap. But still, that's another good one. I appreciate that coming up. Danny in real life.
So is it X? So you don't tweet out, you don't Twitter out anymore. Is it X'd out? Is that what it is?
Whatever you want.
Is it pound signal out? I don't know what it is.
Okay.
So this came out as an NFL rumor that former Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers is more likely to retire than sign with a team that's not a Super Bowl contender, per Aditi Kinkhababala.
That's a Didi Kinkabawala, but
no, I said it much better. You gotta have that thing at the end there.
I don't think so. Formerly of the NFL Network, now doing her own reporting from that perspective. To me, we can get into this Aaron Rodgers thing. I think anyone reporting on Aaron Rodgers like Aditi and saying, he's more likely to do this or more likely to do that, they don't know what they're talking about. Aaron Rodgers is his own man. He's got a very tight circle. I'd be surprised if he just straight up retires. I think ultimately he'll probably be joining Pittsburgh here sooner rather than later. And speaking of the draft being a week out, I'm sure Pittsburgh would like that decision in before they step up to the draft to make any of their decisions here. I think there are 2 options here for Aaron Rodgers, and I don't think either of them is retirement. I think one is just starting with the Steelers somewhere within the next week, and he's their quarterback. Bing, boom, bam, here we go. I think door number 2 is, you know what? I'm not in love with Pittsburgh. Obviously, if he was, he would have already signed. I'm just going to wait it out. I'm not retiring. I'm on hold. Sorry, Pittsburgh, go do whatever you want, or you can wait around for me if you want. Maybe I'll come to you at some point. I think what he's going to wait for is Minnesota changing their mind, which could come in the fall if J.J. McCarthy isn't developing how they want, or an injury happens anywhere around the league. Let's just say Brock Purdy blows out his leg. I'm sure the 49ers and Aaron Rodgers, as a Bay boy, would love to go over there to San Francisco. Or your Cowboys get an injury, and then all of a sudden it's Aaron Rodgers in Dallas time. Wouldn't that be amazing? So to me, I don't think there's a retirement coming for Aaron Rodgers. That would surprise me 100%.
So he's going to Flacco it, so to speak.
Hey, sure. I mean, to me, it would be embarrassing feels too strong a word because, again, he's a Super Bowl champion, Hall of Famer, and I'm just some rando guy doing a YouTube show here. But I think it would be beneath him to sort of do this Joe Flacco thing of waiting on the couch. No offense to Joe Flacco, he's a Super Bowl champion. He's never going to the Hall of Fame, but he's going to the Hall of I made a lot of money, and hey, that was pretty cool as a Super Bowl champion for the Baltimore Ravens, but he's just not in the same category. It would be sort of strange to see Rodgers in that light if that were be how it all ends up.
Let's not throw any Flacco hate out there. Flacco came off the couch and led a pathetic Browns team to the playoffs. Aaron led the Jets to 5 wins. So let's just calm down. You know what Trent Dilfer, Joe Flacco, and Aaron Rodgers all have in common?
What's that?
The same number of Super Bowl rings, baby.
Oh, boy. Here we go. Yeah, and, old Joe Flacco, by the way, brought them to the playoffs and led them to slaughter. They got destroyed by the Houston Texans in the wild card round. So he just brought them there, a participation trophy, and they immediately got trounced. So thanks a lot, Joe Flacco. But let's get some questions in here. Let's go to Jets Worldwide. Wide. Hey, how do you guys, prioritize our first 3 picks position-wise? This is a good question. Again, our first 3 picks are this. They're 7th overall in the first round, 42nd overall in the second round, and 73rd overall in the third round. For me, what I'm prioritizing in the first round, personally, is Tyler Warren at tight end, or Mason Graham. One of those 2 guys is going to be there. I feel very confident in that. And if one of them is not there, that means someone else I wasn't expecting is going to be there. So I'm prioritizing, tight end or defensive tackle at 7th overall. We bounced to round 2. I'm evaluating the offensive tackle options. Is an Ariante Ursary available at offensive tackle? Josh Connolly Jr. Did one of those second-tier, third-tier offensive tackles slip? Ozzie Trapillo, is he the guy at a Boston College? Speaking of 6'8" guys, is he there at 42? That might be a bit rich. I was hoping more for him in 73, but I would prioritize first defensive tackle or tight end, depending on whether it's Tyler Warren or Mason Graham. If they're both on the board, I'm going Mason Graham over Tyler Warren. If one of them's missing, the more likely missing guy is going to be Mason Graham, and I go Tyler Warren. So I'd go tight end at the top, flip back to either right tackle. Defensive tackle you could sell me on. Tyleik Williams has been consistently available there at pick 42. Kenneth Grant has been consistently available there, at 42. If Mecca Ibuka is on the board, I'd go wide receiver. But probably my priority is a tight end in round 1, if I'm being realistic, because I don't know if Mason Graham's going to be on the board. So I'm probably going tight end. I'm going to go defensive tackle and then right tackle. Tight end, defensive tackle, right tackle. First round, second round, third round. I believe an Ozzie or someone of that nature is going to be available at pick 73. Then the second round, I could get a very capable starting defensive tackle, whether it's Tyleik Williams or Kenneth Grant. Plug in one of those guys. And in the first round, I'm getting Tyler Warren.
Yeah, so I think we have the same top 3 kind of. Okay. Tight end. I'm not taking tight end at 7. I think there's other tight ends are in the ballpark. I am likely. I am going defensive tackle first if our gentleman from Michigan is available.
Okay, so we're in concert on Mason Graham. Okay.
Yeah, Mason Graham's available. I take him at 7 without in a second. Otherwise, shocker, I'm going to trade back. And then get an extra pick there. So, yeah, to me, it's defensive tackle, offensive tackle, and then tight end.
Okay. Okay, defense tackle, offense tackle, tight end for the first 3 rounds. So, Jets Worldwide, thank you for the question. Continue to send in those questions, guys. We'll take as many of those as we can before the breakfast light goes off. And I sense it's near. So, get your questions in while you can. Either super chat them in or just send them in, and we'll try to get to as many of these as possible. Dade County McFly says we need a right tackle at the 7th pick. I don't want to force it. Again, I think there are starting capable right tackles. And if you sense that, oh, geez, we took anything, let's just say any non-right tackle at 7th overall, and then you're waiting there at 42, and you're waiting. You start seeing an offensive tackle run at the end of the first round, and you're like, oh, boy, I don't know if our guy's going to be there. Then feel free to jump ahead and go in and go after one of those guys. I totally be in on that. So be willing to be aggressive. You have 8 picks in this draft. While I would like more picks in theory, again, as we saw with the NCIC 12 a bunch of years ago, well over a decade ago, don't just have a lot of picks to have a lot of picks. I'd rather you have people that you believe in truly as opposed to quality over quantity, long story short, from that perspective. I don't think you need a right tackle at 7. You can get one, and I can walk away feeling pretty okay about that. That's for sure. Okay. Let's see. Let's keep going here on your questions. Okay, here's another one. For Lily and Big D, a member of our Boy Green Coffee Club. What's more important to you, tight end or lineman? Again, if you're going priority of position, lineman is more important than tight end. But for me, the piece that's missing is not left tackle. The piece that's missing is right tackle. And right tackle is less valuable than left tackle. You don't need 5 superstars on the offensive line for Lily. You just need 4 really good ones, and they can elevate the play of the 5th one. So, Olufashinu, I am head over heels. I think he's going to be one of the top left tackles in football one day. So, I feel really good about him. John Simpson and ABT, I'll package the guards together. They're both coming off a really good year. Joe Tippmann has been a top 8 center in football, according to the analytics. The numbers are great on PFF. He has been phenomenal. I love Joe Tippmann. And then you have this 5th guy. Who's this 5th guy going to be? To my father's point, Chukwuma Okorafor. He's a guy that I feel comfortable with. Some Jet fans don't. Some Jet fans have compared him to Wayne Hunter. I'm not there. I don't know what people are saying. He is a solid guy that I think his play could be lifted even higher based on the other players around him. So to me, what's more important to me, it's tight end. This is a guy that can check off all the boxes. He can help in blocking. He can help as a security blanket for Justin Fields. That should be the last-ditch effort. I always talk about 3 things at the tight end position. Safety valve, of course, the ability to attack the seam and be a mismatch nightmare against either slower linebackers or you can outbox in a bigger way some of those defensive backs. I think Tyler Warren would just hit every bell. I am a Warren warrior. I'm proud of it, baby, and I'm not changing. So, Pop, what's more important to you? Tight end, lineman?
Yeah, it's all based on the value, so it wouldn't necessarily be the order for me.
All right.
So if I take an offensive line, if I take a lineman with a 2nd pick, if I take a lineman at the 2nd pick, I think the need is greater. Okay. It's just the value of the pick of what you can get. The bottom line is, I think a playmaker / tight end is like that's a chasm, right? Hello. Where that's a wide open hole. Boy Green and I are completely aligned that, I think Okafor can do something to help out, that he's going to be able. We don't put all the money, all the eggs in that discount, double check, veteran minimum wage worker. But to me, the bigger gap, much bigger gap, is tight end / playmaker.
Again, I hope this guy proves me wrong. This name I'm about to call out. Jeremy Ruckert sucks. He has stunk in the NFL. He has this story as a Jets fan. He's former college teammates with Justin Fields, and people are saying that now that his best friend's here, that's something going to elevate his play. God, I hope so. I'm a Jets fan. I'm wearing the Jets gear, man. I want the Jets to be great. I want every player on the Jets to be great. Every time they draft a guy, I'm like, okay, I can see it. Let's try to figure out how to get this guy from this level to this level. And unfortunately, Jeremy Ruckert has been a big, fat pancake flop at the NFL level. He's stunk. He can't block. He can't catch. They can't utilize him. It's just been one thing after another on the Jeremy Ruckert conversation, which has been frustrating to me. Again, use this as motivation, big boy, and I'll see you later about it. It's just been incredibly frustrating to watch from that perspective here on the channel.
Yeah, it's value add if he does step up.
Yeah.
But we can't hope that happens.
Which is what I heard Darren Mucci say this, and this made me laugh. Darren Mucci at the annual league meeting said when he was, the reporter, hey, Darren Mucci, general manager of the Jets, how do you feel about the tight end position? Thoughts? And then Darren goes, well, we feel pretty good about the tight end position for sure. I mean, Jeremy Ruckert, he could step up this year. Okay. He could not step up. He could step up, but he could not step up. When he said, he could make a pop this year, okay, and he could not, Mr. Darren Mucci. So that one to me, again, I'm going to come off as this big Jeremy Ruckert hater. Look at the statistics. Look at the on-the-field stuff. He hasn't had many opportunities, but when he's had opportunities, he's dropped them. I don't see it. I just don't see it. Hopefully, he proves me wrong. Let's go to a YouTube super chat shout out. Every time we get one of those, we hear from my daughter, Zariah Luna.
Wow.
Let's go to John B. Here's been a member for 7 months in the Boy Green Coffee Club. Thank you so much. We have 400 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. But you guys can join the Boy Green Coffee Club in the YouTube description down below of every single video. Join the Boy Green Coffee Club here. It's only $2.99 a month. And with my Pops quote, we got to eventually put on a shirt. Hey now. From John B. Thank you for sending that in, brother. We appreciate it. Keep sending in your super chats and questions. We'll continue to ask and answer questions here on the program as well. We got another
snowing
one
outside.
Is it? It feels like it. Hey now.
Wow.
Oh, this is a great question. This is from Jets Worldwide, a member for 4 months. Thanks, Snowball. Again, he creates all the emojis on this channel. He asks, what's your over-under number for primetime games this year? So, first off, the schedule comes out the second week of May. I continue to hear that from our NFL schedule people and also for the Boy Green event that'll be coming up in the near future. Really excited about that. Now, the maximum amount in the old schedule is 5 primetime games, and then there's flexibility for more. I'm going to count in this group standalone games, which include London. The Jets are already booked for a London game, so they're automatically getting one. So I count standalone games, Black Friday games, Thursday night games, Monday night games, Saturday day games, anything of that nature. If it's a standalone game where it's the only game on in town, I count it. So we know they all automatically have one. One of their Jets home games is going to London. So that's a guaranteed one. My gut tells me we're going to get 3 standalone games. We're going to get a London game. I think we're going to get one of those Thursday night games that they love to do with teams. And then I think you get some other weird one, like not weird, but like Jet Steelers. I think if Aaron Rodgers ends up going to Pittsburgh, as we all think he does, Justin Fields to Pittsburgh, that whole thing may be enough for a primetime. Aaron Rodgers will put it over the top. So my gut tells me 3. Again, the London game, whatever that is, that's automatic. That's 100% going to happen. A Thursday night package game that seems to go to a lot of teams, especially New York market. I could totally see that. And then some other random game. It'll be a Monday night game, a Sunday night game, probably Pittsburgh. It could be the Jets-Dallas game too.
Yeah, I don't think the Jets-Steelers game, even if Aaron signs there, is going to be a big, if Aaron had taken the Jets somewhere, then yeah. So I don't see that. I do think with with the plethora of Thursday games and the Christmas games and the Thanksgiving games,
sure.
and all these games and the Saturday, Sunday morning games and the triple headers. And I think the number is going to be 3, counting the London game they have. I'm with you. I think it's 3. I don't think it's more than 3.
I don't either. I feel more comfortable at 2, but I'm saying 3.
Yeah, that was where I was leaning. And it was 2, but counting that London game, take the London game off the table, obviously, because there's a really prime time, but
right,
it's
9:30 in the morning, correct?
Right. So yeah, I'm with you. There'll probably be 2 games, and I would say it speaks more to the magnitude. If you remember, and I'm sure Jets fans like to remember this, like back when Buffalo sucked, they weren't prime time for years. They didn't have a Monday Night Football game for a long time.
They had their 17-year playoff drought, so I imagine a large chunk of that was that. Sure.
So there you go.
Yeah, again, and for folks, I know there are fans kind of on both sides of this fence that are like advocate for the primetime games, or on the other side, they don't. When they're there, I love them. Now, of course, it sucks when your team is not very good and you're forced to watch primetime and your team get their teeth kicked down their throat, which unfortunately has happened the last bunch of years for the Jets in those windows. But I appreciate, and now being a father of multiple children, the 1 o'clock times are absolutely elite. So there's nothing wrong with those. We'll see how it works out with one of our Jets games that we're going to be Boy Green tailgating for before the game. But for those who have been watching this channel for a long time, the game is watched shortly after, an hour or 2 hours after the game is the post-game show. So there's a lot of factors that are sort of playing a role there. We'll see in the future what are all of those going to be for this channel specifically. But to me, there's nothing wrong. I enjoy the primetime games when they're there. And if they're not there, 1 o'clock games, okay, let's go. We're getting the football just like everybody else. So good stuff there from Jets Worldwide here on the channel. All right, let's go to the bottom here. We'll work our way back up. Jets Worldwide, thank you so much for the questions. Continue to send those in. NFL Film 98's prediction is 2 or 3 schedule, and then 1 flex if they're in the mix late, which again is always a possibility. You get later in the season, you're better. Washington is a great example. No one thought they were going to be the team that they were. So minimal primetime games, and then, oh, shoot, we could flex them later. That's something that can happen all the time. Terrence Hill says, once the schedule comes out, I'm calling you, BG. We will do, I promise. When the schedule comes out, we will do a live NFL pending my work schedule, I suppose. My plan is to do an NFL schedule reaction show, talking about, the top games I have circled. We could even open forum discuss which games could be in the mix for the Boy Green tailgate game. So, yes, again, that's going to be in the second week of May. And normally it's in the middle of the week. So hopefully they tell us soon and I can work it with my schedule to get that in there. That'd be a lot of fun. Go ahead, Pop.
Yeah. That I'm looking the second week. Yeah, we could do a show when the schedule gets released. I think that'd be great.
Yeah,
we'll get to pick the right game.
Yeah, my gut, because my father has a calendar in front of me here, is it's going to be somewhere in that 12th to 15th. Because sometimes we get a Tuesday release, and that goes on NFL Network. They do the full blowout show. And we get the games announced ahead of time. Like, for instance, Jets London, I fully anticipate knowing that before we even get to that.
They start trickling out.
Yeah, 100% with the international schedule. So the one thing I'm just crossing my fingers for is what game are the London Overlords going to choose off the Jets home slate? Because I love the Cowboys one as a possibility. I love Pittsburgh as a possibility. And the Jets can say that. The NFL has already reached out to the Jets and say, hey, which of these games do you want to quote-unquote protect? Like, hey, please, for the love of everything that's holy, don't pick and I'm making this up, the Cowboys game or the Steelers game. We think those are going to be great for us. Maybe it'll be a lesser game, but NFL is going to be looking for the biggest fish they can get, obviously. So it'll be an interesting battle to see what happens there. So Lucas says it's better to be under the radar, in my opinion. Stay under it, and I'm totally okay with that. So nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I can't wait. That's going to be a wonder. That Boy Green tailgate is going to be great. Yes. We didn't look great in prime time in some of the games last season. There were some good ones, though. Jets-Texans, the Thursday night Halloween game was a lot of fun. I enjoyed bringing my daughter out there. That was great. Luca not loving the London game, saying 9:30 a.m. game is ass. Sorry, Luca. I love having football all day long, so when the Jets have a 9:30 game, we just get after it sooner. So great. Danny says our Jets roster screams Sunday at 1 o'clock, and hey, you know what? It is what it is. That's fine. I have no problem with that game. Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, no, and I'll tell you what. I think there is. I think Fillion was the one that said, I think there is an opportunity for a couple games to get flex because unlike everybody else, despite everybody in the chat that thinks I hate the Jets, although I did predict them to go 12-5 last year, I think they're on the cusp. I think magic can happen. I think their window for wins is 7 to 10 games. That's what I think.
Hey, well, that would be wonderful. If they're in the mix late, which again is something Jet fans haven't seen since, 2015, where like the end of the season mattered where they were at, it'd be a different shish kebab for that going on. Well, let's just do this, folks. We have 400 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for everyone that enjoyed all the Hop on Pop shows all together this week. They were a lot of fun, which is awesome. Like I said, shortly after the show, we're about to go. The bacon light is on, or potato light, or whatever light is on out there for breakfast. We're going to be enjoying that, which I appreciate. Then I'll be hitting the road. We will be back for a Boy Green Daily tomorrow morning, baby. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in all week. It was awesome. Again, another shout out to Jay Boy for winning our draft day spectacular giveaway yesterday. Those items are already on the way to you, my man, so I hope you enjoy those. We will have, a week from today, our live watch stream party. It'll be starting at 8 o'clock. We'll be doing a special homage giveaway exclusively that night. So save your memberships and super chats and everything you want to do. Those will count that night. I'll give more details as we get to that draft show. So I can't wait, Pop. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome. This has been a great week of doing the shows. Shout out to everybody that loves to hop on pop shows. And for those of you that don't, I would just like to take a moment to apologize for absolutely fucking nothing. Let's go.
Yes, I saw a few of those in the chat. Appreciate your candor. Much appreciated. I will just say this, and again, people, I know people that love this show. I know people that hate the show in general, but specifically in the involvement of my father. I enjoy doing these shows with my pop. If you guys don't enjoy it, I apologize, but I'm not going to stop doing these shows. So for the people that have asked, I'm not going to stop doing these shows. I enjoy doing these shows. It's an absolute treat to be able to do this show with my father. Not a lot of people get that opportunity. So I enjoy when we get these chances to do all this. So Pop, message well received, I'm sure, from the Peanut Gallery that does not enjoy this. But hopefully you guys enjoy all the shows because, like I said, we do special guests and everything else. It's always a good time. So again, like the video, hit subscribe, show your support, baby, as we make our chase to 10,000 subscribers. We'll be back on tomorrow. Also, one more shout out. Again, I'm going to be traveling, as I just mentioned. There will be a Boy Green Meets Woody today at 3 o'clock. It's going to be my boy James Goody and Jeff Magliochetti making an appearance on Boy Green Daily. He's covered the Jets for a long time for a bunch of media outlets, including JetsXFactor.com. So again, make sure you guys stay tuned at 3 o'clock. I'll be on the road, so I will not be able to be live on the show, but you guys can tune into that as well here on the program. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Look at that. Floyd Lily and Big D as we're heading out of here. Don't apologize for anything. Keep doing what your guys doing. Appreciate all the support, everybody. Hop on Pop. Boy Green, we're out. Thanks, everybody. See ya.